Hello there and welcome to Ion Pod, proudly brought to you by West Blue Consulting, Ghana Oil Company Limited and Ghana Community Network Services. BNFT is a proud media partner as well as the Maritime and Transport Digest. People, last week we talked about the cost of doing business in the port, and the Chief Executive Officer of Meridian Port Services, Mohammed Samara, lamented how disappointed he is in the current situation, saying that he totally agrees with the entire Ghanaian public that the cost of doing business in the port is very high, and wished that something urgently will be done, maybe by government leading the action, because he feels that the situation is not good at all. He said it's only the Port Authority, that is the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, whose tariff is regulated. All the others are not regulated. Not that of the clearing agents, not that of the shipping lines. But how is that possible that you live in a country and pricing or price ceiling in a very important and sensitive area as a port is not regulated? We're taking a second look at the cost of doing business in the port, and the CEO of Meridian Port Services is our guest again.
So basically also the nature of the charge that is being charged, I think should be challenged.
So you are talking about the processing fees, for instance, that is being charged importers, and you are saying that there isn't much to do with this, yet the cost is extremely high.
Yes.
So processing fees here, you are talking about when you go online and do all sort of things, and then through the GCNet and the other ones, the West Blues and those ones.
Yeah.
What you press for your release and everything to take place, the charge there, you are saying that is high. If you compare this to,
I'm talking about the customs, the ship agent release.
Yes.
Represent in total and on average per TEU, I would say somewhere around $370. Taking a little bit of demurrage, taking the actual releasing fee, and the ship agent is charging $370 easy. That's a ship agent. The clearing agent is charging about $450, close to $500 per TEU. That's for his services to go to the long room, and tomorrow is paperless. So he doesn't have to go and queue nowhere.
yeah.
He has to do nothing.
So there isn't much to be done for the amount of money that's being collected.
But it's still, $500. Now, the other processing fees that you will see, put clearing agent because he's running around doing this, ship agent he's got a front desk, this. There is other things, that is on the actual customs entry. Those are levies, on for services. For example, the GCNet, the CVR, the GIF, the GIF, ECOWAS, this, that. If you add up, lump sumize all of those small levies, you're talking about $618 on average.
Wow.
Or call it $500. I don't want to exaggerate.
And 120-footer container.
Yes, with a CIF value of $20,000. Talking of CIF value of containers, which is the cost, insurance, and the freight, the cost of the goods. Maybe we are one of the lower CIF value containers, but is it really lower? Some of the goods are very
Actually, when you consider our conditions, you consider us as a country, do you really have to peg this?
So we have a lot of charges inside the bill of entry. Maybe customs could, look at it. Processing fee, this 1% of CIF value. Inspect 1%, this 4%, 5%. So there is a lot of these. They add up to like 3.5% of the CIF value is being charged.
That you think, in your view, we can do something about it?
We should, actually.
We can take it off entirely to relieve the...
Because it's being charged on a value and not on a transaction base.
Yeah.
And how do you associate the value of a container of LED TVs with a container of textbooks to school? Why this one, pays 1% and that one pays 1%? Maybe it's not the best of the examples. These things should be levied on specific types of cargo, and it should be varied on the value of the goods itself. And the transaction should be, it's a transactional matter, not...
Mohammed, it's interesting to learn from you that, based on the piece we had and from the freight forward, the importers who are complaining there, you actually agree that some of the levies we are seeing can be eliminated or reduced to help the importer. So why do you think we haven't done this all this while?
These come from various sources and various ministries, and they're not part of the port. I mean,
why are they not part of the port ministry? The port operates under a ministry which is a transport. It's partly also under trade, partly influenced by the finance ministry and all. They should be interested in going down to know how they can take down some of these prices in the interest of the people.
Well, I hope this will be started to take shape. At least now the awareness, and we are all talking about the cost of doing business, and I am more than happy to talk and be very transparent on the cost of doing business, because I think Tema Port and GPHA tariff is one of the lowest tariffs, and it for the service being rendered. I mean, let's not forget that Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority and through its stake, and it's not a small stake, inside MPS, represent close to 90% of the invested capital in this logistics chain when it comes to the entry point of cargo into the country. All other services are plug on.
Let me get you to help us break this down, which the public is not probably too familiar. Assume that I import a 20-footer container into Ghana. Just bringing the container in, as soon as it arrives at the anchorage, or let me say the port of Tema, what is the cost, the total cost involved in such container, and how much goes to who, how much goes to who, how much goes to who? Can you help us break that down?
Let's assume your container has
my container has arrived,
and it has a value of what, $20,000?
$20,000.
This is $20,000
Yes.
for this box. Assuming your container will come on a ship which is bringing into the country 3,500 containers, because it's not coming in isolation, on a big ship. And the ship that is coming has 50,000 ton GRT, that's the gross registered tonnage. So it's one of the biggest, actually the biggest that can enter the port in today's environment. So basically this container will generate some cost to the shipping line and will generate some cost to the receivers, which is you. To the shipping line, this container will be charged by the Ghana Shippers Authority, 1.8 Ghana CD. That's
1.8 Ghana
CD. Yeah, that is no, it's in CDs, which is just a token, a small one, and then they will charge to the shipping line $40. That is $2 per ton on average. In a 20-foot container, you can put 20 ton. So, and they charge the Ghana Shippers Authority $20 to the shipping line.
Okay. So overall, how much is Ghana Shippers Authority taking? $40.
And then the Ghana Maritime Authority charges $0.50 for the gross registered tonnage.
Okay.
And you divide that on the number of containers that this ship is bringing, then on average, that's $7 per container charged by the Ghana Maritime Authority to the shipping line. So basically the shipping line receives the total of $47 invoice from both
GSA and GMA.
Then the port dues.
I think it's about 47.5 or so percent.
Yes, or thereabout, correct. Then we have the port dues. GPHA for having a harbor, the harbor has dues, dues on vessel and dues on cargo, both. And this is standard worldwide, So the port dues that GPHA charge to the shipping line, not shippers or consignees, is $46.
Yeah, I think that's also about $46.8.
Yes. And then the stevedoring charges come over here. The stevedoring charges, maximum rate is $132. That's the credits, the stevedoring, the planning, everything that you do from up to down. It's $132 maximum.
And who takes this? Because I think there are private stevedoring.
There is private stevedores. They take it, but they pay GPHA back 25% of whatever they collect. Yes. as royalty.
So it's not everything that's going to GPHA or the Port Authority.
No.
If it's handled by the private stevedoring company, 25% of that cost goes to GPHA.
Correct.
Okay.
So basically, that's
$132 for the stevedoring.
Yeah. If the shore handling, with assuming a dwell time of 12 days and return of empties and all of that, if we assume 12 days dwell time, the shore handling done in MPS will result in a maximum cost to the consignee in the range of 73 US dollar.
Okay.
That's the maximum you can get at MPS based on that storage rate.
Okay.
But
and do you pay any percentage also to the Port Authority? Because
of course,
I know that the shore handling is also done by private people.
Of course. Without that, the royalty is paid
so
back.
So the stevedoring is not going to the Port Authority. The shore handling is not going to, apart from the 25% of the cost that goes to them.
Yes.
Is it the same with the shore handling? Only 25%?
No, 10%.
That one is 10% that goes to the Port Authority. Yeah. Okay. What about the rest now?
GCNet, for example, they charge 0.4% plus VAT, and which will add up to about $100 if we are talking about your $20,000 container, because it's
0.4%
of the value of the container. So basically, then we have customs processing fee. That's the actual processing fee, 1%. So basically, that's again quite a handsome amount from their amount. That might add up to $200, $250 based on 20,000 plus 5,000 being freight. So CIF value is 25.
Okay. The customs levy of about about 1%, and then that of GCNet, which is about 0.4. If you compare that with other countries, is it realistic figure?
It's really difficult to compare because
it varies from country to country.
It varies, but some countries, they have a flat rate, for everything. Some is per transaction, some of it. It's not really a fixed comparison. Okay. But one thing for sure, 1% processing fee is quite handsome, of the CIF value, and then on top of it another 1% for agency fee. That's the give, that's the inspection, CCVRs and all of that. That's also another 1%.
No, only the GIF processing.
Not GIF, scanner and
okay.
CCVR.
And
yeah.
Okay. And what about GIF?
They have a small amount there, a small token that they put, maybe a couple of dollars. It adds up to one something. Also, they have a bit in the processing, under the GCNet entry form, they charge something.
Yeah.
A small token by GIF, but certainly the big hits are the percentage multiplied by the CIF value, and these are where the heavy costs are. Then you look at the clearing agent himself. No clearing agent will clear a box for under $300. That's $1,500 CDs to clear a container. Then he's got the documentation, miscellaneous. This, if he does unstuffing, he sends people. On average, I would say close to $400 to $500 per container is the charge being charged by clearing agents.
And in your candid view, what do you make of that?
I would say it's on the high side. The systems are currently being improved. There is more transparency thanks to the paperless. And in the long run, it will change. Yes, it's not regulated tariff, but I think if tomorrow will bring another breed of clearing agent, things will start to change a little bit.
What if we never bring another breed of clearing agent and we have to deal with the ones we have? Does it mean that we have to survive with the high cost that's been levied on our people?
Yeah, there will be a choice at some stage. When things improve, there will be a choice, I'm sure. The cost of doing business is bound to go down, in deploying good technology.
So you can sense in that interview there that Mohammed Samara, CEO of MPS, is totally in agreement with the general public that the cost of doing business is very high. So if the stakeholders, the core stakeholders themselves believe and know that the cost of doing business in the port is high, who is taking action to ensure that we bring this cost very down to help the general public and to help the economy of our country. Eye on Port returns after the break.
Hello?
Good morning, this is Samantha Wendy. I am sending a purchase order from SA2 Ventures International. Our policy for new supplies is 2 containers to start with, but you must deliver within 30 days.
Don't worry at all. I'm going to get you the 4 containers within 30 days or less. Bye.
To get his pineapple slices from his country to his clients overseas, Mr. Appiah and his representatives have to complete a number of regulatory compliance procedures to various international trade stakeholders.
Hey, Baba, what's going on? Get it right? I mean, how?
Using single window, Mr. Appiah has completed all his international trade procedures through one portal. He has registered his company information, applied for the necessary permit, certificates and licenses, and all that remains is for him to get a text alert for clearance and movement of goods. And that's how simple facilitating international trade could be in a single window environment. You can offer competitive services to your trading partners in China, America, even here in a simpler, faster, and cost-effective way. Single window, the only way to Ghana's economic growth is in our hands.
When cleaning your vehicle by valeting, steaming, waxing, or polishing, make sure the engine is also sound. Servicing your vehicle with Gold synthetic oil and any quality Gold oil massages the engine, removes deposit, protects it from wear and tear for longer lasting performance, and makes your vehicle feel pampered. Made for diesel and super engines. Remember, after every 15,000 kilometers of enjoying your ride, service your engine with Gold synthetic oil.
We are a champion. That's why I, Azuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion and a patriot, always choose Goil.
Ashene Pankasa. Goil, good energy.
Welcome back from the break. Still watching Eye on Port, and next up are news and activities within the port industry locally.
"11 pirates have attacked the Ghanaian fishing vessel in Ghanaian waters, which has left 4 foreign nationals and a Ghanaian being held captive. The vessel, MV Marine 711, was said to have been hijacked on the Cater High Seas within the Ghana waters on Monday, the 26th March 2018, and taken to Nigeria together with its crew members before being released on Tuesday. The whereabouts of the 4 expatriates and their Ghanaian counterparts who were held captive by the pirates are still unknown. The tuna vessel, which belongs to a Ghanaian-based company, World Marine Company Limited, was hijacked by suspected Nigerian pirates while sailing at the Cater Seas in the Volta region. According to reports, the pirates reached the MV Marine 711 fishing vessel using a speedboat, hijacking the vessel with over 30 crew members and sending them to the Nigerian waters through Togo. Speaking in an interview, a Ghanaian officer on board the Marine 711, Daniel Mensah, said the pirates assaulted some of his colleagues and also took away their fuel, fishes, their 2 captains and an engineer who were on board the vessel.
May 4 ba vessel wana me ba vessel meni mnyamba capture wo fe ana me capture wo ta na me che order tanker keba asuma that tanker ama me capture me oh I'm a headman kume.
Briefing the media in Tema, the flag officer commanding the Eastern Naval Command of the Ghana Navy, Commodore James Conto, said their investigations so far indicates that 5 persons whose nationalities are 3 Koreans, 1 Greek and a Ghanaian are still being held captive by the pirates whose whereabouts is still unknown.
Collaboration has already started, investigation is already ongoing. Already we have a lot of clues, we have a lot of what should I say, materials we are investigating, and it's giving us some links. So collaboration, investigation in progress.
He downplayed fears the country's territorial waters are not safe in the wake of the pirate attack on the Ghanaian waters. Commodore Conto assured the public the Navy is collaborating with other security agencies to track down the pirates who he believes want a ransom. Security personnel retrieved several items, including carved sticks and live rounds of bullets belonging to the suspected pirates.
And so what we are telling the vessels at anchorage is that
they should always keep in touch with the port security, with the Navy, with the Marine, Police Marine, so that we'll be able to ensure their safety.
Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has urged maritime authorities in the West African region to tighten measures whenever they are carrying out port control inspections on ships that berth at their seaports for business transactions. This, he said, is to ensure that only seaworthy ships operating in accordance with the standards set in the Maritime Safety, Security and Marine Environment Prevention will be entertained. Vice President Bawumia, who made the remarks at the opening of the 3rd Ministerial Conference of Abuja Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control for West and Central Africa in Accra, also urged the West and Central African countries that had signed the Abuja Memorandum of Understanding to cooperate effectively in ensuring the compliance and enforcement of the Port State Control regime.
Therefore, encourage member states to tighten their nets when carrying out port state control inspections in order to ensure that all ships that call to do business at our ports are seaworthy and operate in accordance with the standards and regulations relating to maritime safety, security, and marine environment pollution prevention.
The Maritime Conference was jointly organized by the Ministry of Transport, the Ghana Maritime Authority, and the Abuja MOU Secretariat to tighten the net of regional cooperation to eliminate substandard shipping. Dr. Bawumia said it was the responsibility of the member countries to promote improved living conditions of shipboard officers and crew to work efficiently towards achieving the objectives of the Abuja MOU. He said promotion of seaborne trade was fundamentally important to sustainable growth as outlined in the African Union's 2015 Integrated Maritime Strategy.
It is my belief that enhancing our efforts as member states to effectively implement the port state control measures, ensuring ships' compliance with international maritime instruments will go a long way to help in addressing the UN Sustainable Development Goals. It enjoins to conserve and sustainably use the oceans and seas and marine resources for sustainable development.
The Minister of Transport, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, said, over the years, the growth in international trade and the servicing requirements of modern logistics system, especially the shipping chain, placed increasing pressure on profits of ship owners. Therefore, he said some ship owners, in their quest for profits, adopted strategies aimed at evading and undermining international best practices.
The Abuja MOU aimed at ensure a system of harmonized port state control inspection procedure for the region, targeted at reduction and eventual elimination of substandard ships. Under the Abuja MOU, member states are required to target at least 15% of foreign ships calling at the airport for port state control inspection.
The Director General of Ghana Maritime Authority, Kwame Owusu, assured that the authority will do whatever it deems fit and appropriate to safeguard the safety, security and prevention of all marine-related pollutants.
The essence of port state control is to ensure that our marine species are protected from contamination by pollution, and the collaboration between member states of the Abuja MOU to jointly undertake action to improve maritime safety to help eliminate substandard shipping in our sub-region is indeed encouraging.
Women have over the years participated in the trade and maritime industry and contributed to its development. Women's International Shipping and Trading Association WISTA, being the parent association of women in the industry, brings together women in the trade and maritime industry to enhance the role they play for the development of the sector. WISTA hosts networking events, seminars and public lectures throughout the year towards the objective of mobilizing and equipping women in the maritime industry. This year, in accordance with International Women's Day celebration, WISTA Ghana has held its first public lecture in Takoradi. The public lecture, which was under the auspices of the Ministry of Transport, aimed at assessing the role of government in trade facilitation.
Even amongst ourselves regionally and in various industries, we have trade barriers. So how do we overcome, or how do we put aside all these barriers to have a smooth trading, inter-trading activities?
Minister of Transport Kweku Ofori-Esiama stated that studies suggest that organizations that have been led by women were less riddled with corruption. He expressed pleasure in seeing women participate in government's goal of trade facilitation.
Any institution that women used to be the head or has been heading, the level of corruption is half what the men has. And I think it's something that women should be proud of.
The Deputy Western Regional Minister, Gifty Eugenia Kusi, said the maritime industry is crucial in the transformational agenda of the government and expressed hope that the initiative of WISTA Ghana would expose the development opportunities the maritime industry offers for women. The Mahene of Esikado traditional area, Nana Kobina Nketsia, stated that it is important to acknowledge the role of women as the driving force behind the nation's growth ever since independence. He said women in Africa are to be encouraged to participate in industry and governance at all levels.
Any position that women hold, it's a position that must be well regarded.
The Maritime and Dock Workers Union of TUC has organized a health walk and seminar to celebrate this year's International Women's Day. The International Women's Day is a day set aside globally every year to applaud women who are achieving greatness in cultural, political, social, and economic fields, as well as encourage others to do better. Considering the fact that many women play a crucial role in the maritime and port industry, this year's celebration was aimed at preaching against violence and harassment against women in the world of work. Violence and harassment against women comes in various forms such as acid throwing, female genital mutilation, forced marriage, witch trial, sexual assault, and rape, among others. The Western Regional Director of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, TRAJ, Nana Jimfa Sechi, cautioned women and mothers especially to avoid discriminating against their girl child at homes since it is the beginning of socialization. She said both men and women should be given equal opportunity. The Western Regional Branch Chairman of the Trades Union Congress, TUC, commended the efforts of women in developing society.
The International Maritime Hospital, IMAH, in partnership with 2 pharmaceutical companies, has held a free kidney exercise for residents in Tema and its environs. Over 500 people showed up at the IMAH premises to screen for kidney diseases while they were coached with health tips by the medical personnel. Participants whose tests showed alarming results were referred for further medical treatment. Dr. Boating Dia, CEO of IMAH, said the initiative was in accordance with the International Kidney Day.
We at the International Maritime Hospital thought it fit to also join in to bring awareness of kidney diseases to the general public.
He said the exercise was to educate the general public on the variety of kidney diseases and consequences one could be exposed to.
Kidney diseases are one of the diseases which are most unrecognizable because it doesn't have any symptoms and signs in the early stages. People will only report when it's in the late stages, and that will require very severe and drastic interventions like kidney transplant and or dialysis.
Dr. Ye Chan Boating, a physician specialist, expressed the intent of IMAH to help eradicate the chances of kidney-related diseases to salvage the youth of the country.
We have doctors going through counseling, so we're counseling our clients on lifestyle modifications, and this basically is what we eat, how we eat, and then the exercise we put in daily. So on a general basis, we like to encourage more fruits, more vegetables. A
pediatrician entreated pregnant women to desist from taking unprescribed medication and herbal preparations during pregnancy.
About 50% of the children, the risk factors has to do with what went on in the womb. So with this, I would advise pregnant women to desist from taking unprescribed medications during pregnancy and then herbal preparations in pregnancy.
The International Maritime Hospital, IMAH, a first-class medical facility with state-of-the-art amenities, is so far in operation and will soon be launched by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, who are the owners of the hospital.
International Port News.
Dubai-based port developer DP World has won a 30-year concession with an option of a further 20-year extension for the management and development of a greenfield multi-purpose port project at Banana Democratic Republic of the Congo. The port of Banana will be the first deep-sea port in the country along its small coastline of 37 kilometers, which currently only has the riverine port of Matadi. Under the deal, DP World plans to set up a joint venture with 70% control, with the government of DRC holding a 30% share, to manage and invest in the port. The construction is expected to start in 2018 and will take approximately 24 months to complete. The International Chamber of Shipping is reporting that governments will have to compromise to enable the International Maritime Organization to set an ambitious strategy for the further reduction of CO2 emissions by shipping that will match the expectations of the Paris Agreement on climate change. The message was conveyed ahead of the critical meetings of the IMO MEPC 72 set to commence on the April 3rd.
When cleaning your vehicle by valeting, steaming, waxing or polishing, make sure the engine is also sound. Servicing your vehicle with Gold synthetic oil and any quality Gold oil massages the engine, removes deposit, protects it from wear and tear for longer lasting performance, and makes your vehicle feel pampered. Made for diesel and super engines. Remember, after every 15,000 kilometers of enjoying your ride, service your engine with Gold synthetic oil.
We're a champion. That's why I, Azuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion and a patriot, always choose Goil.
Ashene Pankasa. Goil, good energy.
Coming up next on your screens are schedules of vessels that are sitting in the port, those at anchorage, those also expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate are all next on your screen. That's it for this week's episode of Eye on Port. I thank you for watching the program, and also thanks a lot to my crew for supporting the program, and that's Martin Minta, Robert Nyantechi, Godwin Kabute, Solomon Anderson, Joe Bone, Joe Lavo, Belinda Deke, Lawrence Gezi, Flavia Mwesi, Grace Achirako, and executive producers Abena Sewa Opokufosu, as well as Madam Esther Jebidonko.